The Eastern Conference, as loaded as I can remember, after being called the Leastern Conference for many years, starting since after the Jordan era, now as stacked as the 90s. 6 different teams can very well steal the #1 seed. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. I made a video of my Western Conference standings predictions. If you haven't watched it, just click on the link above or wait till after this video. If guys like Kyrie decides to sit out when he feels like it and cost his team games, Brooklyn can go down as one of the biggest failures in NBA history. 15 teams, let's start from the very bottom. The Indiana Pacers, 17 and 65 overall. After being average for many years, this is the perfect season to tank. After having its first single-digit pick in 33 years, not a destination that attracts free agents. Been wanting to get rid of Hill and Miles Turner. Halliburton can average as much he wants. No chance against any of these top East teams. Easily the least talented. The only pressure is accidentally winning games. Just looking to compete with San Antonio and Utah in the tank sweepstakes. 14 seed the Detroit Pistons. Although this team very fun to watch with K and Jaden Ivey, future bright backcourt, the loaded competition in the East, even the play-in teams have established guys. Franchise did the right thing to reset, but still an experimental process. Alec Burks, Bogdanovich, and Noel's decent vets surrounding Kate and Ivy. Won just 23 games a season ago, got Jalen Durham. Their starters consist of players 20, 21, 21, and 23 years young, losing lots of competitive games, a learning process with some solid outbursts to end the season. The franchise still a year and a half away to make real noise. 13 seed, the Charlotte Hornets. This team has been an absolute travesty. 2 play-in blowouts, every other good team in the East got better. Second best player Miles Bridges will have to worry about his personal issues. Randomly fired James Borrego and brought back the older Steve Clifford. LaMelo, who missed time the beginning of the season with injury, things can get ugly real quick. PJ Washington and James Bouknight needs to take big leaps and account on the losses of Bridges. Gordon Hayward on the older side, injury prone, might want to request a trade if the team goes nowhere, while Terry Rozier, just a decent wing at this point, nothing too special. LaMelo heading into year 3, very good but not close to superstar status yet, and simply won't cut it with this thin lineup. Mason Plumlee gotta go out and make plays on his own. Kelly Oubre Jr., a name that's always familiar in trade discussions, taking a few steps backwards. I predict this team loses over 50 games. 12th seed, the Orlando Magic, 30 wins, young and in the right direction, highlighted by #1 pick Paolo Banchero, easily winning the Vucevic trade, landing last season's very impressive rookie Franz Wagner, having the improved Wendell Carter Jr. played his role, a promising trio to say the least. Wagner, a guy who's not afraid, Cole Anthony doesn't need to take that many shots, and we haven't even mentioned the injuries to Jalen Suggs and Markelle Fultz. Both don't look so good at this point, but still hope even without them. There's a few young pieces that can already make some buzz and bring the Magic back to the franchise. Still having disappointing lottery pick Mo Bamba, if he doesn't make noise, can easily get rid of him. And the 2+ year injury prone Jonathan Isaac, also Bo, names that resonates. Orlando has lots of young players, but given their inexperience, will accidentally win games they're not supposed to, but also lose to some bad teams as well. 11th seed, the Washington Wizards. Bradley Beal trying to commit simply won't help his chances, even with a healthy prime John Wall. Still couldn't get past the second round. Monte Morris, a downgrade from prime Wall. Will Barton and Kuzma can get buckets, while Porzingis, super injury prone, simply won't reach his full potential after that knee injury. Too inconsistent and wears out over 82 games. Hachimura, a solid young player, hampered by injuries too, already heading to year 3, giving up 120+ points on the frequent basis. The team now ranked 20th or worse defensively in 4 straight seasons, will easily make it 5. No true playmakers and lots of ISO guys, do-it-yourself types. I don't see the team gelling. Porzingis once again will get frustrated with his lack of touches. After the All-Star break, there'll be a bunch of unhappy starters who will want to be in a better situation. Given KP's not the same rim protector he once was, which one of these key players will truly commit to playing defense? Who knows? 10th seed, the Chicago Bulls, 36 and 46. Some believe I'm being too harsh, but the fact of the matter is, DeRozan having a spectacular last regular season only to stink it up in the playoffs, already 33 years old, while the unfortunate tale of Lonzo Ball's knees will miss over a year, might never be the same or last long in the NBA. The multitude of injuries, the team went 27 and 13 by mid-January. Before Ball went out, a minor issue became a major one. Players who tore their ACL recover faster than how Lonzo's currently looking. Alex Caruso will play his hearts out. DeMar simply will get burned out. Levine also banged up end of last season. Heat check guy. Vucevic doesn't blend well and past his prime, doesn't bring any defense. And Goran Dragic, 36 years old, year 15. Kobe white very streaky. The team looked nice, like they can contend in the East last season, but already taking 2 steps backwards. Lots of frustrations will only result in more losing, going 19-23 since Ball's injury to end last season. Assuming Lonzo misses the entire year, Chicago will be 5 games under 500 in my estimation. 9th seed, the New York Knicks, 38-44 overall. Already making jokes of the mid-3, adding Jalen Brunson, a proven playoff bucket getter guy, 4th year RJ Barrett, many still await for him reaching all-star status, and the polarizing, unpredictable Julius Randle. From beloved to hated in a few months span, it's up to Julius himself to allow Barrett and Brunson to shine and take most of the shots. If he can play team ball, go with the flow, make the hustle plays, and not lose his temper, this team goes as far as RJ takes them. Evan Fournier, projected to be the starting 2, honestly doesn't fit well in Tibbs' system, but can shoot threes when needed. Tibbs needs to put his ego aside and start trusting the young guns and Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickly, while the front line of Mitch Robinson and Isaiah Hortenstein. Being one of the most underrated backup bigs in the entire league, an excellent signing. Derrick Rose, a proven good teammate who's just trying to play his small role, and the question mark of Obi Toppin's ceiling. With lots of other great young players and teams around the entire league, especially in the Northeast Division where the Knicks will likely finish last place, New York will have to play hard every single night. While Cam Reddish deep on the bench, who knows if he'll play. At some point in the season, those 5-game losing streaks will simply be brutal for the Knicks, but the team will have what it takes to try to get a play-in spot. AC, the Atlanta Hawks, didn't look good a season ago. With the backcourt now, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, it's up to Trae himself to adjust his game a little bit and score without the ball, come off screens, and show similarities to Steph Curry. While DeJounte controls the flow well, both can average 9+ assists. Murray's defense easily makes up for Trae's struggles. DeAndre Hunter, still a work in progress, can play the Andrew Wiggins Golden State type role, guarding the other team's best guys and have some nights with the hot hand. Collins, super athletic, and Capella, a beast on the glass. Bogdanovic will miss time with his knee injury. I see some early struggles in adapting and finding chemistry. Might go 500 the first 22 games before picking up steam. Improvements must come from Hunter and Collins, while a vet enforcer still truly lacking compared to the more established teams. The conference finals run 2 years ago honestly seems like a fluke given how bad Ben Simmons choked. 7th seed, the Miami Heat, 48-34. I'm not super high on them, given Jimmy Butler will miss his games and try to ramp up for the postseason. Already 33, 36-year-old Kyle Lowry, not the same as his Raptor days. Tyler Hero, the bucket getter. Bam will flirt with his 2010 numbers, but still not superstar material. The franchise did a great job developing unknown Smash Drews and Duncan Robinson, but can those guys continue to get serious minutes? Vic Oladipo, a shell of himself after the countless injuries. Gabe Vincent at times looks better than Lowry. I honestly won't be shocked if this team starts Nikola Jokic 20+ games. Too much shuffling the lineups in a more consistent East. Butler carried them in deep playoff runs. They'll know how to pace and regroup come March before trying to establish better chemistry, already seeing what lineups work. 6th seed, the Toronto Raptors, 49 wins. Scotty Barnes regaining Rookie of the Year, all-star potential written all over him. One of the best free safeties in the league, does a bit of everything from hustling, understanding how to cut for easy baskets, elite IQ for his age, combined with the physical tools. Siakam at the prime of his career, VanVleet proven to be a 20-point sniper. Most people super high on Toronto as a regular season team. Given their depth, Gary Trent Jr. can get buckets. OG being hurt for a while can finally have his breakout year. Lots of long wings, different bodies to draw at superstars, play great defense at stretches against Harden and Embiid. Barnes frustrated Durant's Nets, can even beat teams like Milwaukee as a unit. Precious Achiuwa, high energy guy, surprised a lot of people. Last season, winning 48 games, a team with no drama and all business and winning basketball. Despite lacking superstars, Siakam arguably in the top 25 discussion, but that's about it. Having lots of good players, super intriguing to see how they fare in the postseason with one great player and 6 good ones versus other teams with 2 top 20 players on their roster. 5th seed, the Cleveland Cavaliers, 50 wins to be exact. The youth and rebuild with the dangerous backcourt of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, super exciting. One of the most lovable teams on paper. The huge front line of superstar potential Evan Mobley heading into year 2 and defensive, likable Jarrett Allen put this team in the weaker East of the early 2000s. Still win in the mid-50s, but still young, only got a sniff of the play-in. I ranked them in the middle, between the best and worst scenarios, being a top 3 team at best, but given the loaded talent from the others, adding 24-point-a-game Donovan Mitchell, much better than a play-in team. If it wasn't for Allen's injury last season, Cleveland likely wouldn't have ended up in the play-in. Isaac Okoro and Caris LeVert must be okay playing 20 minutes some nights. The key to the future will depend on the rise of Mobley as a serviceable rookie last season. 4 of the 5 guys in the lineups can make the All-Star team, and we haven't even mentioned old Kevin Love, still able to dream threes and grab rebounds off the bench in a much happier situation. Mitchell will also need to give effort on defense, given his physical tools and wingspan. Can't depend on the front court to bail out the backcourt every time getting beat. 4th seed, the Boston Celtics, 51 wins. Many believe they should win close to 60, but given first-year head coach Joe Mazzulla, Al Horford will be resting last of regular season games, trying to make one last chase for a ring before playing from behind last season. Fatigue might have played a factor. Now without Robert Williams to start the year, for at least the first several weeks, the slow start should be inevitable. Ime Udoka, a huge part of the team's success, everyone brought into his system, and now seems like they're starting over again. The path to the finals even more challenging, assuming other elite teams will have their guys healthy. I truly believe Boston would have lost to Milwaukee with a healthy Middleton a season ago in 6. Given the distractions and drama right before training camp, I don't see the C's winning as many games as anticipated. 3 seed, the Brooklyn Nets, on paper absolutely loaded with talent, there's no question about that, but their worst enemy having to deal with their own personal egos, from the attitudes of Kyrie wanting to take games off whenever he feels like. This is his last chance to prove himself as a worthy net before free agency, already caused a lot of harm to this franchise. Brooklyn would be lucky if Irving even plays 60 games, while Ben Simmons put in the perfect situation if he decides to ball and not be scared. The defense, rebounding, and playmaker elite. Durant, who's been injury prone, likely will miss several weeks at some point in the season. I see a hot start before Kyrie disrupts the flow. To no surprise, things can go either really good or really bad. Nobody should be too optimistic, with the franchise still having Steve Nash as their coach. Sharpshooters Joe Harris, Patty Mills, and Steph Curry all fit perfectly with Simmons, but the defense of the team still likely not enough. Nick Claxton still very average and fragile, needs to put on more muscle. Anything short of a championship would be an absolute travesty. Highly doubtful that the Big 3 even plays 55 games together. Realistically, more like 42 if KD gets hurt and Kyrie still comes up with personal reason excuses to not want to play where the team needs him. The lack of trust between the players and organizations too much to overcome. Availability the biggest issue. 2nd seed, the Philadelphia 76ers, a stacked team on paper created by the analytic driven Daryl Morey. Embiid, coming up short in back-to-back years for MVP, soon to be 29 years old, will be hungry and enjoy destroying other bigs, while it's up to Harden to regain back to his 80% self. Even his first few months with Brooklyn, that version of James Harden still superstar level. The hungry Tyrese Maxey, as fast as anybody. Tobias is who he is at this point. PG Tucker, the energy and hustle plays, a fan favorite. Anthony Melton and Shea Milton, decent backcourt off the bench. Matisse Thybulle for defense. Montrezl Harrell, good offensively. A great pick and roll guy for Harden. Will dominate scoring the ball the games Embiid will miss. No reason why this team shouldn't win more than 50 games. Even without Simmons and a depleted version of Harden last season, still good enough to win 51 games. The time is now for the Sixers. If the process of winning a championship not complete this season, it can be disastrous given Joel's injury history and not being as young as many thought. Harden now 33, anything short of a conference finals appearance would be an absolute travesty for this franchise. The 1 seed, the Milwaukee Bucks, 56-26 overall. Giannis did miss 15 games a season ago, given he's been the best player for a few years now and hasn't won an MVP since 2020. The Greek Freak loves to dominate and remains humble. This roster can easily win 60 games, but very experienced, knowing what they need come playoff time. Even Holiday and Middleton last season missed 15 and 16 games apiece. Brook Lopez only played 13 games. If the Big 3 would have all played around 75, it's easily a few more wins. Giannis will turn 28 in December, unstoppable on both ends, the team defense elite. Given that Giannis is still not a great shooter, having Middleton to close out games and make big shots will be key to make this team champions again. Having won all almost every award imaginable. Another MVP or championship will cement Giannis as a top 15 player all time and make him the undisputed second best power forward ever due to Brooklyn's unpredictability and drama, plus Embiid being more injury prone than Giannis, some of the main reasons I love the Bucks finishing first in the East. Thank you so much for watching this video. Which one of these teams in the Eastern Conference do you think will surprise many people? Let me know in the comments below. Who do you have coming out the East this year? I'll make more videos talking about the current NBA very soon. Stay tuned. I love all of you. See you next time.